Hey, this is Max Danziger, platinum selling recording artist and the greatest wrestler of all time. You're watching CCP Podcasting.
What is happening, friends of CCP Podcasting? Welcome to a live taping of Beyond the Bell right here on Twitch. I am Chris Page. That is Todrick Tabar Ramsey. And Mr. Ramsey, how the hell are you, sir?
You know what? Today was a really good day, and I know that it's going to get even better because the guest that we have tonight is truly a viral moment. And I enjoy watching her, and I find myself, it's like the curse of TikTok. You know how you get on there and you're watching, and it's like, where did the last 30 minutes of my life go?
No,
She
that's
has
my
that kind
husband.
of content. So she has that kind of content, and I absolutely enjoy watching her. So I cannot wait to talk to her and, just get to know her a lot better.
Well, let me tell you, I'm stoked. I'm excited anytime we get the opportunity to sit down and talk to people that we've never had a conversation with and learn more about number one, them, number two, their area, number three, what they've got going on, and we can introduce them to our channel and our family, as I call them. I'm here for it. And today, listen, I got the DM out of the blue from the real moment of truth. Probably about 3 weeks ago, right? Like you're very familiar with this.
Hmm.
Um, and I thought it was bullshit. Not gonna lie. Just like, yeah, whatever. Uh, he's like, I'm gonna send some people your way. Okay, cool. Didn't expect for it to happen. It's not the first time somebody said, "Hey, I'm gonna send you, try and get you, send you, 10 or 12 people," and nothing ever happened to me. Well, this is different because not only did something happen, like within 45 minutes of him saying he was going to do something, I've got 6 messages in the box from 6 different talents from all over various parts of the United States and up north. So at that point, it's like maybe this is legitimate. Maybe I do need to take a little deeper look here. So I did, and then I found that the real moment of truth is kind of putting together this whole conglomerate of talent from everywhere to help promote what they've got going on. Our guest today was one of the first people who DM'd me, and let me tell you something. When I saw the Instagram page, so obviously I get the DM and I go and I see our guest in a diaper and playing as the bad. You know what? The Bad Nanny, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. The Bad Nanny is here. We can discuss this and talk about this as we go. I swear to any on everything holy that when I get this message from you, I
Mhm.
say to myself, self, I got to see this. And then you send me some clips and said, yes, we have to get you on the show. I have to talk to you. I need to know
Mhm.
about all things Bad Nanny. But before we get started, Toddy, why don't you welcome in our guest because this is about to get real fun real quick.
I am so ecstatic to have you here on the show. Anyone who knows me knows how I feel about women who wrestle and women in wrestling in general. And it is such an honor and a privilege to have you with us tonight and to talk to someone that does what you do because you do it so well. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, guys. It's a big honor to be asked to be on your podcast. Um, it's so cool to be able to see that I'm being interviewed by Americans on a podcast, being from like this lady from up north. So it's pretty cool. Thanks for having me.
No, the pleasure's definitely all ours, and I cannot wait to pick your brain and find out all things about what Bad Nanny has going on. Before we get to Bad Nanny, like I do like to start these off kind of very similar. Before we get too deep, if you're first time watch, we do not script our interviews. We have an organic conversation from the time we take the air to the time we leave. So if you have questions, feel free to drop them in our chat. We will get to them and make sure that we ask anything that is that you guys want to know. Um, and we start them off like the love of professional wrestling. It runs deep with everybody. Where does yours start? What drew you in initially?
Well, growing up in rural Prince Edward Island, so I'm actually from a very small island on the East Coast, like just off Nova Scotia, like up that way. And we had one channel, one TV channel, and I think it was like Saturday afternoons, Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling would be on. So me and my two brothers would be watching this, and like there'd be like Killer Carl Krupp and the Cuban Assassin, and they'd take like a square shovel from underneath the ring to beat their opponents with, and we're like, what is this? And it was amazing. So that's where I first saw wrestling. I didn't get to see like live wrestling or anything like that because it didn't really come to my hometown. And then when I got a little bit older in university and started watching a little bit of WWE like everybody else, but I really got into wrestling again because I worked for the Canadian Mental Health Association, and I was the director of the program. And we had a guy who was a little on the spectrum, and he was obsessed with wrestling, and he would just talk about wrestling nonstop. And all the other staff members would be like, and like roll their eyes and not give him the time of day. And I'm like, that's not fair. So I started watching wrestling again in my mid 20s, so I would be able to have something to talk to him about at work. And then we would talk about the Royal Rumble or what was going on and like at wrestling. And then he had someone to connect with. So the last time I wrestled back in my home province of PEI, Scott was his name. He came to my show, and I told him, I said, listen, you're the real reason why I started watching wrestling again, and kind of like led my journey to where I'm at today. So he was pretty pumped to be able to say that he inspired me to wrestle.
That's actually kind of a cool story to get you attached to things and get you in the mix, is
Mm,
to do
yeah,
it as a bonding way.
yeah,
I've never. I mean, to me, I think it's cool as shit but I've never heard that before. I've never heard someone like take to wrestling because they want to bond with someone else and be able to relate.
yeah,
That's cool. Toddy, what are
yeah,
you thinking about that? You're muted or something because I can't hear you.
yeah.
That is right.
Oh,
I
sorry.
was muted. um, Sometimes you get the sense that someone is a really good person, and hearing that story, um, it's so amazing. Like I was like, wow, it's way too early to be this emotional already into the interview. Um, that is so amazing because you're right. There are so many people out there that are ignored and belittled just because of they're not like the norm, quote unquote. And we don't know who makes that norm, but
Yeah.
hearing that you did this just to connect with somebody else elevates where I already thought you were, which was very high, by the way.
No.
And now it's astronomical. We're in the galaxy somewhere.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Um, I moved to Ontario about 9 years ago, and my husband and I owned three sports therapy clinics. So this is how I got into wrestling in Ontario. We had a guy come in, he was all like jacked up, and I'm like, oh, you must be a power lifter. That's what I do because I've been on Team Canada for powerlifting. And he was like, I go to the gym. He said, but I'm actually professional wrestler. And I was like, what do you mean you're a professional wrestler? Like, I thought only the professional wrestlers were like all in the States, or, like Bret Hart, or, whatever, like all the big guys. And he's like, yeah, actually, I got a show in 6 weeks. I'll put you in. And I'm like, I don't know how to wrestle. So he said, all you have to go in is your music's going to cue. You're going to walk in with your Team Canada singlet on and your medals from Worlds. And you walk in and you pick up a guy and you slam him and walk out. And I'm like, okay. So we had a couple of practices and it didn't go so good. Um, I couldn't get him up very good. Like, there's a lot of technique to wrestling, and I had no
Facts.
idea. So the day of the show, the guy I'm supposed to pick up isn't the guy who I've been training with, and he won't practice with me. I'm like, you got to practice with me. I don't know what I'm doing. So I try to get him up, and I can't get him up. Try to get him up again, can't get him up again. He goes, oh, don't worry. It'll be fine during the show. Well, it wasn't. So during the show, music cues, I go in. I'm like super pumped to be in a wrestling ring, first time in my life, thinking that this is probably going to be my only ever time to be in a ring. Go to pick up the guy, and I just kind of go and fall backwards with him. So I didn't sleep for days beating myself up that I screwed up the only ever time I would ever be invited to be in a wrestling show, and I messed it up. So I started going to wrestling school after that. And
Well,
that got me in the doors.
we okay. You told your embarrassing story. I'll tell you mine. It's not a secret, but it's the first time for you. So my debut in 1999,
Mm.
17 years old, tripped over the steps and the ropes.
Oh,
The same steps first. Got my shit together. Got up. Tripped over the rope. Was not was not staged. It wasn't planned. It was embarrassing. But I ended up using it as a way to troll that city. Every time I came back, I'd trip over the steps and then I'd trip over the ropes coming into the rink. So I
perfect.
made it work for me. But
That's
I
right. You used it.
I'm kind of shocked that I mean, professional wrestling's always baptism by fire to a degree.
Mm.
But for you to go into the ring and then, I could imagine being pumped and just here we go. This is the moment, and then oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm so freaking embarrassed.
but see, you had two options right there, though. Like you could have given up and said, "Okay, I tried," but you
Yeah.
didn't do that. You sought out to learn, which
Yeah. Yeah.
is big because you got the little taste of it, but you know that there's more to it. So once you started, when you sought out training, you sought out a facility and how
Yeah.
to make this happen. Walk me through that. What's that look like for you in the Ontario area? This you're the first, well, second Canadian that we've had on the show. We've had Frankie the Mobster a while back, but I'm real curious to see what that looks like for you guys.
For sure. So when I begged a wrestling school to take me on that was probably about 25 minutes from my house, Hamilton Pro Wrestling School. And I begged them to take me on. And he said, okay. Um, but I was also training for a big powerlifting competition at the same time. So I couldn't really dedicate myself to be like one of those students that are there, like multiple times a week and all this stuff. So I went to one practice, one class, and I said to him, this is what's going on. Once my powerlifting competition is over, then I can dedicate more time to going to your class. And he was like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Because you can't get hurt right before you go into a powerlifting competition. So competition's over. I go back to his wrestling school, and I was paired up. I was the only female, and I was paired up with a guy who was probably like 6'4", 320. He was a big boy. And I was like, afterwards, I was like, I love this, but I want to learn with more ladies. I want to learn with girls. So it had nothing to do with like Hamilton Pro Wrestling, his classes or anything like that. But I just wanted to learn with girls. And my husband said he's not into wrestling. So he wasn't super comfortable with me wrestling guys too, to be honest. So he said, if you ever find an all female wrestling class, he said, I will support you 100%. So I found one. So it was a brand new school that opened up. Vanessa Douglas is the owner and her partner, Jeff Black. Vanessa is it's the first female owned wrestling school in Canada. and she's got 20 years worth of experience as a wrestler and wrestled all over the States and even up like northern Canada. She's been everywhere. And she's an amazing trainer. Um, but I reached out to her and I showed up to her class, and she's told me like later that when I first walked in, she was like, so this I'm 51 now, so I was probably about 48 at the time. So not many ladies want to start professional wrestling in their late 40s, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
walk in, takes one look at me and goes, all right then. And then a couple classes in, she was like, Natasha, it's okay. There's like you can be a manager, you could be, a referee. And I was like, I'm paying for a wrestling class. I want to be a wrestler. I want to be in the ring. That's what I want.
Said,
And
fuck that. I want put me between the damn ropes, baby. Let's go. I love that. Go
she
ahead.
goes, it's going to take you a couple of years to be ready to be in the ring for a match. And I'm like, holy God, a couple of years? That's not enough time. It's going to take me about probably 5 years before I'd actually get a match. And then like a month later, she's like, yeah, okay, so I booked you in a show. And I'm like, okay. So my first show was like only a few months after I started wrestling school. It was a tag team match, and it was, like people from the school. So it was people I was comfortable with, and we got to like work out some things beforehand. But it was amazing. And like probably about a year later, she brought this story up again of me wrestling for the first time in this tag team match. And I was teasing her, saying, like, you told me I was going to have 2 years before I'd be in a show. And here you put me in 3 months later. And they said it was because you had a gimmick and you knew what you wanted to do.
I like that. So I have my question then, because I'm 42 and I'm at that stage now. My career is about to switch, and everything you just said makes me kind of think about when I deal with young people and they look at me and they're like, "Aren't you too old to be doing this?" And I'm like, "I'm not. I can figure it out. Leave me alone." Like, um,
Baby, gosh.
I drink water and mind my business. I think that's what does it. So, so we got the aspect of what the trainer and the owner thought. What was that relationship like with the other ladies in the locker room that were training with you? Like, how did that go for them?
Uh, well, um, I have a lot of humor, so I usually get them laughing, which sometimes I get in trouble in class for making other people laugh. But I play the old lady card, so I kind of get away with it sometimes.
I love it.
Okay, so here's wrestling class. There is um, an amazing 12-year-old girl in our class. Uh, Chloe's 12. Lily is 18. Sydney's 19. Who am I missing? Torrin is 17. Sarah's 34. Vanessa, my trainer's 34. 51. So it's like some of the things that they're doing in class, and like these young girls, I'm gonna be honest, I am so friggin' jealous of these young girls. They have no fear. They're like like gumbo or whatever those things are that just like move around with no bones, and they jump off the ropes. They're doing flips. They see something on Instagram or like on a video that they want to try out in class, and they watch it in the video, go like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, and they do it. And then Vanessa says to me, okay, Natasha, do you want to try it? And I'm like, yes. Right. So because I always figured that if I always say no to things in the ring that kind of like scare me or intimidate me, then I'm not going to progress. I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to go backwards. So I always try it. And then sometimes it's like, oh, Natasha gets it right away. Or sometimes like I try it and try it and try it. And I say, listen, I'm going to hurt them or I'm going to hurt me. So how about I don't do that move anymore. So So you just have to know your strengths, right? Like
Mhm.
I'm too old to be jumping off the top ropes, but I can use a lot of my gimmick work and my working the audience and the crowd work and the foolishness to entertain the crowd in a different way. So are they going to remember if I do a top flip off the top rope? Maybe they remember that. But are they going to remember that Bad Nanny wears a diaper in the ring? Yes, they're going to remember that. So just saying.
Let, let me ask you this. So, when you are coming up with this concept,
Yeah.
I need to know, how does Bad Nanny become Bad Nanny? What's the motivation behind Bad Nanny? And I say that because I've been able to obviously cruise through a little bit of the Instagram and see some clips and see some of the work, and I think it's fucking fantastic. So how do you devise this and come up with this?
Well, so that first show that I was in that I screwed up, I was more like going in as myself, wearing my Team Canada singlet for powerlifting and my medals and all this stuff. And I didn't have a ring name. It was just like this strong girl going in to lift up a guy and slam him. It was too much. It was too close to home. And I couldn't make a, it's easier to be a character in the ring because that's not Natasha in the ring. That's Bad Nanny in the ring. She's doing all that wacko bad stuff, not me. I'm not doing that. So, but also, my husband was worried about, like I said, he doesn't watch wrestling. So I don't know what he actually had envisioned about women's wrestling, but he was like, I don't want you to be a sexy wrestler. I'm like, oh no, don't worry, honey. I'm not gonna be sexy.
Wow.
So I came up with the Bad Nanny gimmick. So I have a this here it is here. I have an old ratty pink house coat,
Hmm.
and I have that on, and my hair is up in a crazy bun and crazy makeup. So totally not looking pretty and attractive. And I have a cane. So when my music cues, I'm like hunched over like an old lady. And I'm walking out to the ring. And sometimes I even forget where I'm going. So an audience member has to turn me back and walk toward the ring because I'm walking in the wrong way. And then I get up into the ring, and the audience, like a lot of the audience members, some of them know about Bad Nannies, they know what to expect, but there's a lot of people in the crowd, because we do different shows all over the place, are new to the Bad Nanny experience. So I go in and I seductively take off my robe. I've got on one of my powerlifting singlets with a pair of Depends on over my singlet. I'm completely out of my mind. Oh yes, and I do have a Bad Nanny spank and stick, so sometimes I will spank my opponents with my spank and spoon.
And notice that there's a freaking bullseye on the spoon.
Oh
Uh,
yes. So my second last match I had, I went to the dollar store and I bought a whole bunch of wooden spoons, and I put a bullseye on them. One side, and the other side said Bad Nanny. And before the show started, I went through the audience in the front row and I gave out my wooden spoons. I said, listen, when my opponent comes out of the ring, I said, I want you to smack his ass as hard as you can with these spoons. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yes. And they're like, well, how will I know when to spank him? I'm like, oh, you'll know. So his ring name's Bruce Thunderstein. Poor Bruce. His ass must have been red by the end of it because these people were just like wailing on him. And then I get out of the ring and then I wail on him for a little bit and then we throw him back in and then keep going. But the clincher with Bad Nanny is that at some point towards the end of the match, that diaper comes off. The other wrestler gets distracted by the ref. And when the wrestler's not looking, take off that diaper, grab it from the crotch, it up, so the whole audience can see that it's full of chocolate pudding. but I always make sure that I show it around so that all four sides of the ring, and then pull the wrestler side, face wash her face with the diaper. I always throw the diaper into the audience, and it's like the parting of the Red Sea. It's just like screams and like tries to get out of the way. And like last show that I had last weekend, when I threw the diaper into the audience, the diaper is still so full of chocolate pudding, like splatterings of chocolate pudding was like flying through the air on top of the audience members.
You are 1000% correct when you say it's an experience.
Yeah.
Because it is. Are you crying, Tony? Did she get you? She got you, girl. She got you.
It's funny because literally he and I have had this conversation. We've been to a couple of wrestling shows in the front row, and I'm like, you never know what you're going to expect when you're in the front row. And, like, you get sweat, and you get so much on you that I'm like, I'm not wearing my good clothes to this because I don't know what's going to happen. And so I literally imagine myself in the audience with chocolate pudding just going everywhere.
No,
And
put yourself in the audience perspective. They don't know it's pudding at this point. I mean, I'm pretty sure some of them are smart enough to deduce, but the kids, hell no.
So
If-
one of my matches, I was actually wrestling my trainer Vanessa, and she took the diaper, and she went to diaper face me, and I duck it, and then she took it and she threw it in the audience, and it hit a guy in the front row right on his shoulder and slid down, and he had like a light blue t-shirt on, and I think he was out on a date because he was not happy. Got shit on his shirt.
Oh my goodness, this is too good. Um, we got a couple of questions. I got the No Game in Turn says hello. It says laughing my ass off. That's part of the risk of being in the audience.
Yeah.
But he also asked you, who is her Hogan / Andre? And I believe what he means by that is the wrestler that you most remember using your power on to get up in the air. You know, that infamous body slam from Hogan and the Giant. Who was one of the biggest opponents that you were able to scoop up and slam down? Oh, JB is an '80s child, so
The biggest. So I wrestled a lady named Robin, and she was bigger than me, and it wasn't a body slam, but it was my first singles match against her, and I gave her a fisherman suplex, and I was like, I was pretty happy about that. I was pretty proud.
Fisherman suplex over a body slam, JB. Fisherman suplex. Uh, when you get the opportunity to really hone in, because you've only been doing this a couple of years at this point,
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you're character driven. Because I think sometimes the best characters tell the best stories too. Along your journey thus far, what
Yeah.
have been some highlighting moments for you being in the ring, whether it be a reaction that you got from a crowd, whether it be an opponent, like what are some of your highlight moments thus far in your young tenure in in the industry?
Well, okay. This when I wrestle in my home province of Prince Edward Island, the I wrestled for Island Pro Wrestling there, and they didn't want Bad Nanny. They thought Bad Nanny was a little too wacko, and they said, "Can you do your powerlifting character?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, I guess so." It's not as interesting, but okay, if that's what you want, I'll totally do it. I've never wrestled in my own province before, so this is like dream come true. And I said, okay. And they said, well, what's your ring name? And I was like, oh, I love Marilyn Monroe. So I said, oh, my ring name is Carolyn Monroe. And they're like, okay, they're put it down, send me some pictures in. So I go to wrestle in my hometown. This town has 400 people. This is Tignish PEI. 400
Okay.
people in this town, but then like all the outlying areas are all rural. So catchment areas, like about 5 to 8,000, whatever it is. So it's small town mentality. I know every single person that came to the show, and because I don't wrestle on the island, like hardly at all. I had 30 family members there. I had all my friends were there from back home. And then I just knew everybody. And I went in as Team Canada. And I went in with my Team Canada singlet on and I win my match. And the kids are losing their minds and they're just so sweet and so excited. And they're high fiving me. And it was amazing. They line up to get my autograph, all the whole 9 yards. It was amazing. But What the crowd didn't know, and what my family didn't know, and my friends didn't know, was that I was going out after intermission with another Canadian guy who was wrestling against, sorry, two American guys. They were the bad guys.
Sure.
And during the match, I walk out with him, but during the match, I take the belt from the bad American and slide it in, and then he beats the Canadian guy with the belt and wins. So I go up and I celebrate in the ring for Team America. And the kids lost their minds. They were so upset. And I could hear people I know screaming, traitor, traitor. And I'm like, yeah, you bunch of losers. Like, just, but like the passion in that rink was off the charts. I had never experienced anything like that before. Like off the charts, like super 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 fans for me, and they were like so excited, and they felt like they were meeting a superstar, and they made me feel like a superstar. But I tell you, when I turned heel and screwed over the good Canadian, they were ready to kill me. I was like, oh God, what
Well,
did I do?
you had them both ways. You
I
had
had,
them invested in the the countryman hero, and then you stabbed him in the back. Like it's a good story. Like it makes
my God,
sense.
it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. But like even if when I go back home, and so like home is like it's a 17-hour drive from Ontario to there. That's like it's not close. But when I go to the island and I'm in the grocery store, my local grocery store, I could hear traitor. Like it's a year later and they're still calling me traitor in the grocery store. So the plan was I would turn heel. They would keep me heel for a couple more shows or, whatever, build the storyline. And then they were supposed to like turn me back face and I would like win the crowd favor over again. And I'm like, I was kind of iffy about it. I'm like, okay, okay. Listen, if this is what you want me to do, I'll do it. I'll do it. Knowing that I would eventually be turned face again
Mm.
and be crowd hometown favorite. Well, they sold the company to somebody else since then, and he doesn't want to continue the same storyline. So, and you know what? That's what happens if the company gets
Mm.
sold and they have a different vision. So be it. That's how it goes. But I am left heel in my own town, and the story.
Oh no.
Damn it!
Go ahead, Toddy. What you got?
So it's funny that you say that because you are so full of life. Like mentally, how do you prepare to go into that heel character? Like what do you have to do to get there?
Um, just as you're just ad libbing with the audience, like calling them
Yeah.
losers. I told one little girl she was up too late and her father was a bad father because she should have been in bed by now. And like just like foolish things that you can banter with the audience to get them to hate you. When Bad Nanny is a heel, because usually Bad Nanny's like the face, um, and that's because it's Bad Nanny ends up being a crowd favorite. So the organizers know, well, you can't really make her a heel because they're just going to cheer for her anyways. But I
Hmm.
have done some heel work as Bad Nanny, and And you'd scream at the audience like, I should be at the Legion right now. I gave up bingo for this crap. People disgust me. And you just go on foolish and crazy, and just ad lib it. And then but make sure that you like look at those people and like pick on that. Oh, like when I walk through the crowd, I'm not walking fast because Bad Nanny does not move fast. But just like pick at these people to make sure that you can get them going even before you get in the ring. Start setting that stage.
Have we thought about a bad pawpaw? We've got Bad Nanny. I'm from the country in Alabama originally, but live in Florida now, and my grandparents were called Nanny and Pawpaw. So I was just kind of curious
Hmm.
if there's a bad Pawpaw that's a character that could be floating around, because this just looks like and smells like entertainment.
Yeah. There could be. You never know. You never know. Could be. Yeah.
Well,
There's like you said, there's not too many people who start wrestling in their late 40s. And so anyone who wants to start wrestling at any age, I think you should go for it because life is short. Like, oh, you should always try it. So there could be some old guy out there who wants to be a beginner wrestler and be a bad papa.
I think it'd be hilarious. And I would talk to a lot of different people, like from all over the world. Like the independent scene, truly, it's on fire everywhere. Every continent, it's blowing up. And along our way, we've had the opportunity to sit down and chat with so many different people. And I say that to say, not too long ago, we were chatting with somebody, and he was like, "Yeah, he's in my 32, I think was his age." He was like, I feel like, that's a little old to get into it. And I was like, no, man, like, gotta think back to like the late 90s. Fucking Diamond Dallas Page didn't get his run until he was 36,
Mm,
37. And he only was there for 5 or 6 years. So, and look at the legacy that he left. So I think that it's commendable that because first of all, it ain't easy. And if anybody out there who thinks that it's easy, why don't you go through a week of fucking training and then you come back and you talk about how easy it is? It's
mhm.
not easy as a 17 for me, 16 when I started, 17 for me in ring. I can only imagine uh, the the wear and tear to go through training at 46 years old.
Mhm.
Not only to go through it, to be in ring currently.
Yeah.
And the bumps aren't easy. They're not. And again, a fraction. I say all the time, fraction of the inch either way, you can kill somebody in the ring.
Yeah.
Drop it. It can happen.
Yeah.
So I think that it's commendable that a you jumped in right and did not walk away when you easily could have on that first night
Mhm.
and sucked it up, found a location, went through the process. And even with people doubting you when you walked in the front door initially, proving them wrong, it seems
Yeah.
to be something that you're relatively good at. And I'm curious to see, like, with where you've come thus far. And again, we're only talking a handful of years.
Yeah.
And with that, how far do you think you want to take this if the opportunity is presented to you? Like, what's your goal out of this outside of having a good time? Because that's obvious anytime you walk through a curtain.
Yes. Of course. Of course. Yep. Yep. I would love to do this for as long as I can. And if it opens different doors for me, then that's great. Because at this time of my life, not that I'm like 1 foot in the grave or nothing, like I'm
No,
not,
no, 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 no.
but everything I do right now is to have a new experience and to make memories and to do something different. Um, so the Bad Nanny character actually has opened doors for me. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe I should just be like a pretty wrestler. But you know what? If I was just like a traditional pretty wrestler, it wouldn't have opened as many doors for me because there's lots of pretty wrestlers that are out there. there's not nobody, no one else is wearing a friggin' diaper in the ring and filling it full of chocolate pudding and trying to make people laugh. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is that I got offered a role in a TV show because of Bad Nanny. There's a new TV show coming out called The Ropes, and it's based on backyard wrestling, and they needed an older lady who could wrestle. So my character in this TV show is called the librarian. So she's like a demure, quiet, serious librarian during the day, and then a psycho wrestler on the weekends. So it's perfect.
I love it. When does that come out? Is that something that's just up in Canada? Is that going to be in the States? Like what is there any information that you can give us about that project that wouldn't be
Yeah.
breaking any okay.
No, it's going to be, it's premiering in, we're doing a theater premiere in September locally. And then in October, it's going to be aired on Bell Media. And then I think they're hoping from there it gets picked up. So I'm not quite sure where you can find it, but of course you can find everything online nowadays. But so yeah, like Bad Nanny opened up those doors. So if Bad Nanny could get on like maybe an all girls wrestling TV show in the States because they need a wacko old lady. Hey,
Well,
You know, it's funny that you say that because um, we we started watching Glow, the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, and I instantly thought Bad Nanny would have been like so amazing on that show. And we sat down and talked to Hollywood, who was like one of the original Glow girls, and I was thinking, all while you were saying that, I was like, man, the interest in a character like Bad Nanny is clearly apparent because Glow started back in the 80s
mm,
and
mm,
everybody was watching it. Then there was that resurgence when Netflix put that special out there, and you can continue to see just by like the hits on YouTube and everywhere else that there's a total market out there for exactly what you're doing.
mm,
And
mm.
I could see that 100%. So hearing you say that it opened up those doors just reaffirmed that to me that what you're doing is like right there, and there is a definite niche and a need, especially with everything that goes on in the world. People like that moment where you can just laugh
mhm.
and have a good time, and
Yeah.
you bring that to the world with Bad Nanny.
Mm.
um, I would definitely watch it. Like, sign me up. Like, buy all the tickets. I'm taking all my friends. We're gonna go watch this. Like, we're gonna have a good time doing it.
Well, I can tell you this: we're gonna clip all of that and put that out there into the universe because I'm real big about manifestation, and if you speak it,
Mm.
it will come into existence. And that is something that I will do on my side of the equation for sure because
Yeah.
I think it would be fucking entertaining. Number one, and that's just it. Toddy said it best. Like, there's so much hostility and negativity in the world today that
Mhm.
this is this is the escape. I want to have fun. I want to have a good time.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy. I work an 8 to 5 throughout the week, just like everybody else does. This is sitting down and chatting with talent and watching independent wrestling and enjoying the fellowship with my friends that I've made along the way. This is perfect for me, and I definitely think that door opening could open up more doors. And because if it opened this one,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, there's truly no telling, which makes me want to ask you this: if
Mm.
Bad Nanny could get out on the road and start doing some traveling, where would Bad Nanny like to go?
Oh. Ooh. I would love to say that I wrestled in the States. Like like when I was a kid growing up, if you went to the States, that was a big deal. Like people just didn't go there very often. So
Hmm.
even though like now in Ontario, I'm only like an hour from the border, but to still say that you had that experience to wrestle in the States is still pretty cool. Like um, my kids are older, of course, they live in PEI, and they're pretty amazed at where wrestling has taken me. And I think if I told them that I was wrestling in the States, they would just be super proud and shocked.
Okay. Okay. Follow-up question, because I don't know my geography.
Yeah.
How close to where, if you were to come to the States from Ontario, what's the closest state to you up that way? Like, where would you come into the United States at? Where would
I
you?
would probably cross at Niagara Falls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Duly noted. We'll chat about that one when we wrap this one up. But I say that to say we have a lot of friends, and I can, geography is not my thing, but putting you in touch with people is, and we can see what we can do about that. And I think that that is such a beautiful thing, because I say that professional wrestling, it can bring people together if you allow it. It truly
Yeah.
can, and that's the beautiful thing about kind of what we do is I don't look at us as I look at us as like a middleman or a bridge, if you will, to get people like yourself in touch with other people like yourself who can help you along the way, and maybe get you in touch with people so you can get bookings. So you can get some stuff that you want to do outside of your area. That's it's happened, and it's happened more than once. It'll happen hundreds of more times as we go. And I really, really think that the Bad Nanny experience needs to be seen. It needs to be put out there for people. So to know that you want to come to the States, and while
I have a passport, so
we're not getting close to winding down yet, and this usually is one of my last questions, but this just feels like the right time to ask it, because now knowing that you want to come to the States, who in the States would you want to share that ring with?
oh, that's a good question. It's a good question. Um, Island Girl TT.
Mm,
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
familiar.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Toddy?
I I'm glad you said that. That's a good choice. I now again take all my money. I want to see it. Like so Bad Nanny was out there, and with social media, it opened up so many doors
Yeah.
for us. Like, walk me through the process for you getting Bad Nanny on social media, and how do you keep it going and innovative?
Oh, so the number one thing is, I think I said it earlier, is like I'll make myself laugh. Um, and I do come from a theatrical background. I did a lot of dinner theater acting back in PEI. My sister was a script writer, and she would always write me in, and she would typecast me as a dirty old lady. So,
I'm a
so
dirty
even
old
when I
man.
was,
That's what they tell me anyway.
even when I
Gotta
was like
love siblings.
36 years old, like not even 36, like I started doing dinner theater when I was 29. So I was 29 years old, dressing up as an old lady doing dinner theaters. And like an old ladies get to do whatever they want and say whatever they want. And it's okay because they're old and they're senile. So you get away with a lot of stuff. So even in the ring, um, if I screw up a move, the audience is like, she's old. Of course she's going to screw up a move. Or she's not moving very fast. She's old. Of course she can't move very fast. So it kind of gives me like a little bit of an excuse to be a slower wrestler in the ring and to take my time to do things. So it's helped me out in that way.
I uh sitting here and I'm just thinking about this whole gimmick and the whole character, and I literally it just came to my mind that there's a tag team in Germany. They go by the senior citizens,
Oh, really?
and they are legit senior citizens,
Yeah. Okay.
and they come out with canes and cardigans, fucking smoke tobacco pipes, and
Awesome.
I'm thinking, man, if you could put Bad Nanny with senior citizens, how that would be and how fun that would be, and just the overall experience enhanced. It would be like Bad Nanny on like cocaine or something, because they are equally as theatric and equally as over the top, living the character and living the gimmick, and body slams, and oh man, I hurt my back, and, oh,
Yeah.
just little bitty mannerisms and stuff like that. I always say, but back in my day, that the attention to detail was a big thing for me. And in your case, with Bad Nanny, yeah, you are playing the character. You're not as fast. You may botch a move. You may do something. Do you do the small mannerism cells? Like if you body slam somebody, would you clutch your back? Like maybe you threw your back out picking them up, or you do any of those little detail things, or is that just not something that's in the mixer on the radar?
It's more so leading to the ring
Yeah.
and then leaving the ring. That is something I do need to work on, honestly, is like selling it like an older person more so in the ring. Yeah, for sure.
Well, we all saw Festus, right, from the WWE. Old Luke Gallows before he was Luke Gallows. He had the Jesse and Festus role where he was all, and then the bell would ring and he would just fire up and would
Mm.
be this monstrous thing, and then the bell would ring and he'd go. So it could almost be that thing with Bad Nanny. As soon as that
Yeah,
bell rings, she's
yeah.
and then bell rings. Oh man, that
Mm.
adrenaline wore off real quick, guys. I don't, you know. Uh, Go ahead, Toddy.
I,
I always try to. I went to a seminar with Vance Nevada, and he said you always have to reinvent yourself. Like
Hmm.
always have something new. So with Bad Nanny, you got the diaper gimmick and the spank and stick. Um, but I also have like a bottle of holy water and a spray bottle. So like there's like different things that I can like bring into the character. I have some videos baking with Bad Nanny where I put uh Viagra in the cookie mix and X-Lax in the cookie mix because I'm making it for my opponents. So I'll make videos like that and then tag all the wrestlers in it. So it just kind of like it spreads its fingers out there. So then now people will see that Bad Nanny baking some wacko cookies to give to the wrestlers becomes part of that gimmick as well. So you may not be able to, like one time I took cookies into the ring and I tried to get her to eat the cookies, Revna to eat the cookies, and she wouldn't eat them. And she took them, she crumbled them up and she threw them at the kids. So she was able to use that to to really like shove it in everybody's face that she's the bad guy. Cause like sweet little old nanny made you some cookies and you were too much of a bitch to eat them. So
Mhm.
Yes, we got a cuss word. Yes. Sorry, it's cause for celebration because I don't like being the only one. My bad. Uh, it took 58 minutes to make it happen, but it's here.
I, he does enjoy that because outside of here, I'm a different person than what I am on the air, and
I'm me. Yeah,
I rarely. So he takes lots of pleasure in that. So thank you for that.
yep. I usually drop an F bomb real quick, not intentionally, but it happens. But if I get someone who drops one before me, it's a cause for celebration. I will stop what we are doing and literally tell the guy or the girl, whoever drops it, just tell them, hey, you made history. Your number such and such to beat me to an F bomb. Um, I think that you have such a great aura and personality about you that
um,
it is infectious, and I truly think that even though your journey's just starting, it's not stopping anytime soon. I think that you've got a very creative mind, on entertainment, and it's great to see though. It truly is, and to be able to sit back and hear about a couple of new feds and things of
Mm,
that nature. Like we were telling you before we go on the air, when we came on the air, like I listen to these things and I go back and I edit and I hear the acronyms, I hear the feds, I go and search them out. I
mm,
find them, I put them on our internal spreadsheets, like our show sheets, because we do a lot of shows, not just this particular one. This is one
yeah.
of our favorites, don't get me wrong, but we dive everywhere. And we wouldn't find those people and we wouldn't find those companies
Mm,
without you guys coming and talking
yeah.
to us about it.
Yeah.
So I want to say that to say, like, I have a question that I do ask everybody, and that is, like, guys, who should we be watching? And in your neck of the woods,
Mhm,
Canada's a very untapped market for us. This,
mm,
I'm saying this is our second interview with someone from Canada, and it
yeah.
is, and I do not want it to be the last, because I truly feel like hidden gems in professional wrestling are everywhere.
Yeah.
Who are some people that whether you've been in the ring with or in
Mhm.
general that we should be watching from Bad Nanny's perspective?
I'm telling you, we've got this 19-year-old young girl in class. She posted a picture on her Instagram this week of her, I think she was 3 years old, and she's wearing like a WWE belt buckle, and she's like super excited. This kid grew up watching wrestling. She is an athlete. She is fit. She's fearless. She's got good stage presence. Her ring name is Sydney West, and she's been getting picked up every weekend by a different promotion. And this kid's sweet. She's a good kid. She's a good kid. She's amazing. And then I just watch her, and I'm like, son of a bitch, why couldn't I start wrestling when I was 19? Like she's just amazing, and like all the rest of the girls in my class, they're really really good too. um so all these young girls are getting really good training from a young age, and they're just going to go, they're going to hit the tops, they're going to go so far. And there's not a whole lot of girl wrestlers out there. So
Yes.
um like sometimes I feel bad for the guys because there are so many guys, but there's only so many people you can have on a show. But
Hmm.
there's so few girls. You tend to get picked up more because of that. And I think the best wrestling shows have a mixture of everything. That they've got like the luchador guys flipping around. They got the big guys. They got the girls matches, and they've got some comedy matches in there, whether it's girls or guys or a mixture of both, is like a little bit of everything. And I think that's what makes a good, well-rounded show for the audience, is that there's a little bit of everything for everybody.
Hmm. Toddy, go ahead.
I just I knew instantly. I'm a firm believer that good things happen to good people, and the fact that you are so good at reinventing yourself and all of your credentials, starting out being a mental health professional to where you are now, most people are lucky if they get that one shot in life and they're successful at the one thing. But you have reinvented yourself several times and you've been successful and you continue to be successful. Who knows where you're going to be a year from now? And I definitely want to see that journey and watch it unfold because the sky is the limit. And I really feel like the universe aligns just because of who you are and what you do as a person. And that's very refreshing to see. Um, I, I could talk to you for hours, like literally could talk to you for hours. And I don't
Hey,
like a lot of people.
that's facts. Before we start winding down and getting out of here, I do, as I Toddy, you were talking, I just got to thinking about something, and again, organic conversation. Sometimes I forget. Little ADD guys. Uh, real moment of truth.
Yep.
That's how this came together. That's how we were introduced, and we sat down with Coop DeVille over the weekend and shot a show with him.
Mhm.
Talked to him a little bit about the concept and what he's trying to accomplish, I'm curious to see how it shakes. I see the potential. I see what it can be. Uh, how do you come across the real moment of truth? And what's that? How your perspective on what it is and what's happening with it?
Oh, well, it's been a while. Um, I think they reached out to me. I think it was. And like I don't know if I just saw something on Instagram and I clicked like on it. Like I can't honestly can't remember. And then when I was asked to join this faction, I didn't know what that meant. So I was like, what is this? And then one of the guys says, "Oh, it's kind of like the Hells Angels, like a club." And I was like, "I'm not interested in doing anything illegal." They're like, "No, no, no, not like that, not like that." And but it's been an interesting experience because they do such a good job of like making the connections of because I'll get like a message like, oh, these guys do a podcast, reach out to them. Okay, these guys do a podcast, reach out to them. Okay, why not? Like
Hmm.
it's entertainment. And but like they did a really good job of what if I post something they repost it, and it's just a way of like everybody cross promoting each other, so it's kind of cool like that.
That's what I love about this idea because the bigger picture is getting eyeballs on you guys
Mm,
and you guys and gals that are out there. Like
yeah,
I said before we came on the air, we don't do. I'm not here for short term. I'm here for long term connections. I'm here for long term uh, everything. It's long term. There's no short term for me. There's no short term gain. There's no nothing. It's all or nothing. Anybody that comes on our show knows that they can come back at any point in time they want to, and if there's anything we can do in the future for them, all they got to do is ask. Um,
mm,
what I dig about this is the I'm not a social media guy. I fucking hate it. It's the bane of all goddamn existence, and it is a necessary evil
yeah,
to get your stuff out there and to make sure that you're seen.
yeah,
The fact that you're able to collaborate with different people from
hmm,
different parts of here in the states to you, as an example in Canada, there's
yeah,
international in Australia. You guys are, if it's utilized correctly, and the goal is to be seen,
yeah,
this can help accomplish that on
yeah,
several different levels
yeah,
because you again, Toddy can tell you more than anybody else can. He's I follow the lead that he gives for social media. I don't know the first thing about it, but what I can tell you is after I took some pointers, engagement shot through the roof. Like I can tell you that,
yeah,
it's just so I know that it works. And then the
mm,
other side of that is if everyone involved, there's like 32 people right now, but if all of you were networking with each other, you can potentially get each other work
mm,
because
mm,
your local promotions, as an example, if there was somebody, oh, we need a spot. Oh, hey, I know somebody who's right across the border. I don't know what
mhm,
that looks like for you guys, but you know, if it's here in the States, it's obviously a lot easier. Be like, oh, where are you at? Oh, I can put you in touch with these guys. It's
mm,
the whole networking aspect of it. If the bigger picture is done correctly, I feel like there's really big room for growth and really big opportunities for you guys to be seen on a bigger platform. My perspective. I don't know what that looks like for you guys, but I do think that there's some potential here.
yep, yep, yeah, for sure. It's all about helping each other out, really. You know.
Exactly. Toddy,
Um,
you got a big old grin on
I
your face.
well, like I said, I love to hear it, and I love to see everything that you're doing out there. And social media, he's right, it is a necessary evil. I was telling
Mm,
somebody earlier today, I was like, I literally my Instagram account, my soldiers, my young soldiers, they used to create it. And I was like, I just mastered Facebook. What do you mean I need to go get on something else? Like, and
Yeah.
that's not even a mastery. Like, I just barely learned. And so taking the time to like study and do all that stuff, I never would have seen what you do without it. And that is one of the great things. And, I love to watch, and I love that y'all have the network that you have, because sometimes I will just randomly find something on social media and I will just share it and hope that, that sparks a connection. And
Mm.
a lot of that has really happened. And I'm just like, wow, now I'm getting to know people all over the globe, and um, people see that. And it's great because, like I said, I would not have gotten to see you, and God, it has brought me so much joy. Like, literally brought me so much joy. I think I told you, like, my favorite one, and I will never forget it as long as I live, is when you won that battle royal and seeing you backstage with the girls. And you were just like, I don't know what it is, but I want it. And that is just priceless to me. I will never forget that as long as I live.
Yeah, it wasn't rehearsed. I'm like, come here, girls, I want to get you in my video. And they like did their own actions behind me. I wasn't expecting it. And I was like, pretty good video.
It's fantastic stuff. You have been a absolute treat to have on the show
Oh,
tonight,
thanks for
and
having
and I definitely want to make sure that you're aware that the door is always open for you to come back at any point in time. Because, like I tell Toddy and we tell our guests all the time, we're really just scratching the surface with
me.
what you've got going on and the things that you're going to be capable of doing. And I know that I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next and seeing what you can do next, because guys, I'm telling you, if you haven't seen this, you need to go and check it out. It's something to behold, and you will not be disappointed. I'm trust me. But Bad Nanny has been fantastic. Is there anything that you would like to say to the people that may be watching here live with us or that's catching us on replay over on YouTube?
Just shout out to Off the Rope Studio. That's where I train in Kitchener, Ontario. And to also, like I said earlier, is if you want to start professional wrestling, don't wait. Just go out and do it. There's roles for everybody. I mean, like
Hmm.
I don't need to be jumping off the top ropes to entertain the crowd. I can be doing other things, and I rely on my own strengths and skills. And everybody's got their own strengths and skills to bring to a show. So try it out.
Absolutely. And one thing that you can do, guys, this is what's great about this is it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. That's to like, follow, share, subscribe when you can. Bad Nanny, you can get her on Instagram. Spell on the screen the entire show right above her head, like right there, literally. Batter Nanny on Instagram.
Bad
You need
Nanny.
you need to
Bad
get.
Nanny was already taken, so I had to take it
I
farther.
know, and I was a little disappointed in that, but then I got to thinking earlier this week. I think it was yesterday. I was like, "Oh, it's badder because she's one up and bad." That's what's going
Hmm.
on here, and I can get behind that. It's Batter Nanny on Instagram. Please, guys, go give her a follow. Share her
Yeah.
stuff. Get it out there. Let her be seen. It takes no time, and you're probably fucking around on social media anyway. So just do it and get it out of the way. Toddy, would you like to say before we close up?
Thank you so much for being here. To everybody who is with us, I say it every time we're on the air and we're leaving, and I mean it more and more every single day. I appreciate you being here with us, fellowshipping with us, sharing your passion, and allowing us to share our passion with you. I love each and every one of your faces, and I can't wait to be with you again.
For Mr. Todrick Tabar Ramsey, for our fantastic guest this evening, Bad Nanny, I am Chris Page. We will see you next time.